Hello, you're watching Late Night Live on Stretford Paddock. This is the show where, basically, in one of Stephen Howson's biggest career missteps to date, he has given me the keys to that door, to the studio. Anything can happen on here. We're going to be looking at VAR, transfers, mental stuff. What's going on in the comments already? Joe falling asleep? No, he ain't falling asleep. I'm here, look at me. It's 11 p.m, I'm wide awake. You know what, first of all, I want to know, what is the biggest animal you think you could kill with your bare hands? Like a dog, a small dog? I know someone who thinks he can take out a tapir, just put the fingers down its nose and just strangle it to death. Who knows, let us know in the comments what you think. Today we're going to be looking at VAR. I'm going to be defending VAR, defending the indefensible in VAR. Everyone thinks, what? Everyone hates it. But I think the framework, the basis, the structure that's all built on has a lot of positives. I'm going to be the Robert Kardashian of the Premier League era, defending the indefensible with VAR. So let's get straight into that then. Basically, I think, I feel sorry for in all this. Yes, we've seen what is probably the worst week in VAR's history in this last week. There's been a slew of terrible mistakes. Minute fractions that shouldn't be playing any part in football have been making the decisions for goals, for titles, quite possibly. Liverpool, the moniker that has been known, of course, nowadays. But I feel sorry for the little bloke who's probably some just technician, engineer guy from Lincolnshire, who invented the framework that is VAR, the actual technology of VAR. It's probably just some guy who was a really good engineer, the best in the country. It's not some millionaire, Premier League employee. He's probably going, let's get John from Lincolnshire. We're going to ask him. He's the best in the country at what he does. We're going to ask him to create a video assistant referee for the Premier League. And those sort of Dragon's Den, those kind of programs where you hear, a little bit of music like this. John is a 55-year-old man from Lincolnshire. He lives with his wife, Mary, and he is a computer technician. His last work was helping realign the wind turbine windmills when the wind gets too high, which, of course, is one of the strangest things in the world, that they have to get turned off when the wind is too high. Anyway, John is a lifelong football fan and an optimist, and he has no idea that in 6 months, his invention will make half of the population hate him. That's not very nice, is it? John didn't know what he was doing. John just made the technology. He just set it up. He let him do it. It's the implementation that's the problem. When you've got 5 people sat in a little office going, let's get the rules out, get the legs out. Imagine, right, honestly, think back to the first game of the season. John was sat at home with his wife, Mary. Come on, first game of the season, VAR's in. But get the good biscuits as well. Get the ones in foil. Get the foil ones. I know they were for your mum, but she's passed. She's not having them now. She's gone to a better place. Get the biscuits, get the tea, get yourself a coffee, decaf. You'll be up all night pissing otherwise, knowing you. And come and sit down. It's the first weekend of the Premier League. He's watching the game. He can barely focus on the football. He's just waiting for it, his big moment. When is VAR going to come into play? And then he sees it. Lads, Mary, look at this. He's done it. It's in the VAR symbol. And it's like a big. All of a sudden, there's some geometric laser crop circle type mathematics going on. He's thinking, this isn't necessarily what I designed, but I did my very best. I'm sure people will love it. John checks Twitter, death threats on Twitter. VAR killed football. Football has died. Cause of death, VAR. John from Lincolnshire, who invented it, he's got to sit there with his wife. Quite frankly, she's asleep. She should have had caffeinated, but he's got to sit there. This is the worst day of his life. He just made a bit of software. I think, personally, VAR has still got a place. There can still be some fun with VAR. Let me know what you think in the comments, whether this season's a write-off. We can all admit this season has gone. They're not going to be able to change any of the laws now. But next season, remember last year, right? People diving, people getting booked for slipping over, you're getting diving yellow cards, you're getting offsides not given. We need some kind of way of the referee seeing what's going on. They just need to change the way that it's implemented. I reckon VAR is still safe, and I think John from Lincolnshire, this fictional character that no one believes exists, including myself, I think he's the one that we need to look out for in all of this, not anyone else. Right, moving on then. Got some transfer news. There's always transfer news this time of year. United have missed out on Erling Haaland, as everyone knows. Hello. Is there any rum left? I ain't had any rum. I'm running on pure adrenaline, if I'm being quite honest with you. I've got 3 lights in my face. The first time the good lights have been used in a long time. Everything okay, Joe? It's 11 o'clock at night and I'm here by myself. And I'm running this whole operation through this. No, everything isn't okay. Not in any way at all. But we soldier on. Gedson Fernandes. United have missed out on Haaland. I tell you what I've noticed, right? Every time that United, some sort of bad thing happens, we either miss out on a transfer or we lose a few games, the club kind of like to release a little, oh, here you go, here's something for the fans. Oh, we've lost a few games, we're looking for a technical director, we're looking for a sporting director. 18 months ago, nothing's happened. We've lost out on Haaland. The club came out yesterday and said, you know, they were asking for like free chocolate and sell-on fees and all that sort of stuff. We're not going to give them that. And then Raiola's come out. What's he said? He's disappointed in United for having a go at him. He's always like that. But I reckon United have come out now and gone, you know, Gedson Fernandes, that's the one. Benfica midfielder, those who don't know him, 20-year-old central midfielder, very highly rated supposedly. But I wouldn't personally put it past Woodward to have just gone, do you know that everyone sort of wanted someone called Fernandes from Portugal last year, didn't they? What was that? I'll make an offer for him. What was his name again? Oh, Bruno Fernandes. Okay, I've sent this to the wrong one. I've sent this to Gedson Fernandes, but you know, a Fernandes is a Fernandes, isn't it? What's the difference, really? There's no difference. I reckon that if you get one Fernandes, they're all the same. It's like a stick of celery, innit? You've never had one stick of celery that you go, that's the best stick of celery I've ever had. You've had one, you've had them all. I reckon Fernandes, Fernandi are the same thing, quite frankly. I mean, I'm out of breath, lads. How's it going in the comments? What's this then, Vish? This is me at work at 11 o'clock trying to do this all by myself and quite frankly loving it so far. Back to VAR. We can't leave it. It's just been the biggest story of the week, hasn't it? Do you know what I'm interested in? Do you know we've got Liverpool? That's the main story. They've won all these points from VAR, etc. What about if, you know, New Year's Day United play Arsenal? What if Arsenal get a good result based on VAR and there's no nickname for them? We need a nickname. And in the last 6 hours since work finished and I've been in the studio prepping for this show, I've come up with a nickname for every single Premier League club that can have a little VAR attached to it if and when they get unfair points based on a VAR result. Let's get VAR back on. Start from the top. Arsenal. Easy really, innit? Aston Villa. Bournemouth, there isn't one for that, I couldn't think of one. Let me know if you can think of one in the comments. Brighton and Hove Albion. Now, that's the best one of the lot, I'll be honest with you. Burnley again, no. Chelsea can't be done, it didn't work. Crystal Palace or Valstall Palace. Everton, Leicester VAR City, Liverpool, as we've heard, Manchester VAR City. We won't do United one because let's not get into that. Newcastle United, again tricky, couldn't come up with them for that, but St James's Vark. So, you know, the North East isn't completely without a pun there. Norwich City, again, there isn't one. Sheffield United, I'm nearly done, honestly. I'll just rattle through these last ones. Southampton, Tottenham Hotspur, Watford, West Ham, again, there isn't one. And finally, Wolverhampton Wanderers. That's 2 for 1 in the last one there, so I made up for not having one for a few of them. If you can come up with one for Bournemouth, Burnley, etc., it can't be done. That's as good as you're going to get. So you won't go without now. Next time, you know, Brighton get a dodgy VAR decision. Brighton and Hove Albion. This is mental, isn't it? This is even more mental than I thought it was going to be. Right, off. That music's off as well now. I control it all through the phone. It's basically, you know, I can do what I want with this. Have we got? What's the biggest animal you think you can kill? Why is no one saying this? Joe shows you double punch again. I won't show you that, and I'll show it you in combat if I ever show it you. He's actually been sat in the studio cutting edge research all afternoon. I have actually, and you've seen it. I mean, what? You just saw VAR Arsenal, and no one else was coming up with that kind of thing. Next up, then, you know what? What's the biggest animal you can kill? No one's even. Did they give? I don't even know what that means. Wanderers, yeah. Wolverhampton Wanderers. Or you can also have Wolverhampton Wunderwars. But it sounds a bit German, so I didn't go with that one. Bournemouth. Yeah, but you wouldn't necessarily know it was Bournemouth, would you? I've had no wine, don't worry about that. Stretford Paddock, if we ever make it to the Premier League. Or World Cup. So don't rule that out either. Get a haircut, thank you very much, Aravinda. And you know what, finally? We've had 10 minutes. It's been a lovely 10 minutes. Oh, I've made some £1. Does someone pay for some sort of chat in here? Here we go. What did he say? Is everything okay at home, Joe? Thank you very much, Dimitri. It's fine. It's actually quite fine. It's more fine than it looks. That's what I'll say about my home life. Right. No one's given me the biggest animal they can kill. Oh, Oakley Owen says, I could kill a Housen. Matt says, could batter a small cow. Essentially the same answer as each other there. Wade Hassim says, I could kill a giraffe. Would you kill a ghost? Very difficult to pin down, I will say that. Nathan Hicks says, a fat kitten. D-Ban says, I think I'd give a swan a good wrestle. I'd love to see that. Tie its neck in a knot. Anthony Jarvis Ellis says, what the fuck is going on? Great question, Anthony. We don't really have the answers for that. But I'll tell you what we do have. And I'm so happy you've joined me tonight. And we're going to be doing more of these. I don't think it's going to be... We're going to be building up to every weeknight this is happening. Imagine, if you can imagine such a thing. But for now, it's going to be every few days, every couple of days. Give me a chance to cool down. Look at the set, by the way. What do you think? Does it look like I picked it up from a charity shop? It does, doesn't it? But we'll hopefully get a better set as days go on. Actually, this is a bit of a sad ending, really, because I didn't want to... The first ever late night live, you don't really want a sad ending, but as it's been the VAR special, and we are coming to the end now, what I would like to do, to see us out, I would like to have a look at some of the goals that we've lost this year to VAR, some of the goals that gone too soon, as far as I'm concerned, some of the, you know what, just thank you very much for joining me. It's been a real pleasure. And you know what? Hopefully I'll see you soon if this doesn't get too much for us all. Good night. Oh, no, not that one. Oh.